endless maze, but I could love you forever if you'd meet my gaze. Don't fall in love with the man on stage. I'll be on in a minute, I'm just sharpening my blade. Don't fall for his flattering tune. He'll promise you the world until you drink that perfume. It's a highway, highway to the door. And a neon Medusa's got your heart. Sweet canyon lullaby. Don't look straight into its eyes. It's a highway, highway to the door.
Alright, have we successfully banished the bots? I think we have. As you can tell, I am still not fully recovered. So we're gonna be power washing. We're gonna be cleaning up the sickness. Yeah, welcome in. Welcome in. I'm well, actually I'm not surprised. It's been a while since we've had some bots. And usually Fossabot is very good at catching them. But this one was kind of interesting because of the fact that, let me have some water. This one was kind of interesting because they didn't have a link. And I think that's how they're getting past filters and stuff, is because they're like, hey, if you don't include a link in it, it doesn't trigger anything. Except for the Ando's eagle eye, who banishes it once he gets back to the computer. Another day, another fucking scam on the internet. All right, let's go continue cleaning up our lovely skate park. I was just saying in the Discord, I need a new emote because I have a bunch of animated emote slots. It's the reason why I got those recent ones from Ichigo. That and the fact that they're rad, but I need to commission myself a Begone bot emote, like the Begone Thought meme, but with bots. Yeah, but like, here's the thing: a lot of those things couch on people having not actually read the Twitch TOS, and also the Twitch TOS, in my opinion, is horrifically poorly written. A great example is like DMCA stuff. He says whilst playing DMCA-able music, but the way it's really written is very unclear. Like in particular, there's one bit where if you read on the DMCA music stuff, it's really unclear as to whether or not doing karaoke is allowed or not. It also doesn't help that they keep making these like frustrating revisions as to what can and cannot be shown. Yeah. I don't know if that's entirely the case, Mike, but I think it's close enough. Because I think there is a legal case to be made of, like, if it did go to court of law, which probably wouldn't happen because there's probably too much shit in the way. But if it did go to a court of law, I feel like there could be a case to be made of your terms and conditions weren't clear enough, therefore it's your fault, sort of thing. And I feel like if you had a decent enough case on that, you could probably make a go of it. But they probably got a bunch of other shit in the way as well, like the one that Discord's just done that I probably should actually have a look into, although I'm not really too urgent on it because I don't think it's going to be a problem for me. My Discord's not exactly large. But Discord have just put a clause in their T's and C's that basically says any dispute you agree to arbitration, basically, which means that instead of taking them to court, you have to engage in arbitration with Discord. But it's like a Discord appointed arbitrator. There's other weird shit with contracts as well. So I'm not a lawyer. I should point this out. I'm not a lawyer, but I know some lawyers, which means I'm not racist or something like that. No, but like I know some lawyers, and I've spoken to some people about this, and it turns out that in contract law, there's a lot of shit that people do that's not actually. Well, again, depends on your jurisdiction, but in Commonwealth jurisdictions, so like Australia, the UK, stuff like that, there's a lot of shit that's what's called unenforceable clauses, which is basically saying that, like, there's shit that people will put in contracts that if they actually try to hold you to it in court, the judge will throw it out. The judge will say, like, no, that is unenforceable. You cannot do that. So a big one is in I think NDAs. Often what they'll do is they'll say, oh, if you violate this NDA, you agree to pay all of our legal costs, even if you win. So even if we take it to court and the judge finds in your favor and says you did not violate this NDA, you have to pay all of our legal costs. And a judge would probably actually go, no, you fuck off, you can't do that. I will not hold that as enforceable, sort of thing. But it's scary enough that most people see that in a contract and go, okay, I won't violate this contract. Yeah, I was gonna say, that's where things get to be very interesting, Mike. Because, yeah, my mum is in a very similar position. She is someone who has spent years working in cybersecurity, particularly in regards to privacy, data privacy. So she's not a lawyer, but there were times when she was at work where she'd be like, yeah, I knew this shit better than the lawyers did because I had to read all of the legislation regarding it and get to grips with it in order to actually implement systems. And I remember when I was going for a loan at one point, I was signing some contract stuff for the loan. And funnily enough, my mother has also worked in banking. She was on the board for a credit union. And I asked her about some of the contract stuff, and she was like, oh yeah, about that one, it actually means nothing. There was a privacy agreement in the contract or whatever. And she was like, oh yeah, that means fucking nothing. Because as per the actual Privacy Act, that's unenforceable. She was like, this contract this page of the contract means fucking nothing. It's just a formality. Like, and I said, oh well, does that mean I shouldn't sign it? And she was like, no, you can sign it. It just means that in the ultra unlikely event they took you to court for it, it would mean fucking nothing because under the terms of the Privacy Act 2007 or whatever, like they literally cannot do this. But it's just one of those things where all of the banks do it because it makes people feel nice. Like it's basically just a thing saying, oh yeah, we won't sell your data or stuff like that. She was like, they can't anyway because they're not entitled to like keep that data, or something like that. Like it's a if they got caught doing that anyway, that would be a far bigger thing than you breaching this contract. But yeah, it gets very interesting. A couple of years back, so this was my parents' place. My parents' place backs onto a park. There's a park behind our like the family home, and there's a service road through the park, right? And so when people would like, so when we built the family house, we used that service road in order to bring in like trucks and stuff to come around behind the house to like do construction work, and a lot of people do that. But the service road is like, how do I put this? We're on one side of the park, the service road's on the other side, so the service road doesn't actually back onto our house. So you have to drive through the park to get to where the house is, right? You have to get permission from council to do that, and there's restrictions on it. So we did all the right things when we built our house. But a couple of years ago, some people down the road from my parents were building their house, and they were being huge dicks about it because they kept driving shit through the park and like fucking ruining all the grass and creating like all this mud that would then wash into people's yards when it rained. And they managed to get a dump truck stuck right behind our house. It actually almost fell through our fence. It almost came through our fence, and our backyard is not level with the park. It's actually down a drop. So it's one of those things where if this truck had slid like another meter, it would have gone through our back fence and fallen like 1.5 meters into our yard. And it was fucking hilarious because like these guys were trying to move this dump truck with fucking like utes with like winches on them, like, you know, like 4-wheel driving winches. And I remember just seeing some of the stuff, like the photos from this, and I was just like, you fucking morons, like, those winches are rated for pulling 3, maybe 4 tons at best. This is 11 tons of truck. Like, 2 of those are not going to move this thing. And they were complaining to my mum, because my mum and my dad took a bunch of photos of it to send to council, because they basically made a formal complaint saying, hey, these idiots fucked up, like, the dirt behind our house, and also, like, almost put a truck through our fucking fence. Basically, they were giving my mum shit and being like, oh, you can't photograph us, you can't photograph our equipment. And she was like, yes, I fucking can. Like, this is a public place. You can photograph people in a public place. You have no right to privacy here. Like, fucking try me. As you should, Mike, as you should. Yeah, exactly. With regards to the NDAs and stuff. Interesting. The spam one's kind of interesting. Because I know in law, at least, there is a thing called being a vexatious litigant, which is like if you keep just like tendering bullshit stuff to the court, they can basically ban you from tendering shit to the court. There was a guy in the US who was a serial killer who kept doing it, and I wanna make a point here. He was a convicted serial killer, but he got caught and convicted, and he kept suing the county of wherever he was incarcerated for shit like, oh, my biscuits in my meal were too soggy, or like, you know, I only got 1 bar of soap when I'm entitled to 2, and shit like that. And it got to a point where the judge basically barred him from making any more complaints because they said, you're a vexatious litigant, you're wasting the time of the court. which is kind of interesting because I know some people who work in like compliance and stuff like that, and they've had to work with some like agencies that like, not agencies but like independent like assessment groups that like assess environmental things, or yeah, come back when you've killed someone. But you know, like I know some people who've worked in stuff where they've like, they work with these assessment groups who have to go out and assess things, whether it be environmental or structural or whatever. But they've said, yeah, some of these groups like have an internal reputation of being kind of dodgy. Like they said, they'll report stuff where they'll be like, oh yeah, we did a site survey and there was no environmental risk whatsoever. And they'll be like, look, from what we know of the site, that's clearly bullshit. But we kind of, like, it's a known thing, but we can't really do anything about it. Like, we can't ever actually call them out for it because we have to be seen to be like an impartial third party sort of thing. Hang on. Which to me, I always found kind of funny because I was like, well, at what point when it comes to compliance can you treat someone as like a vexatious litigant? At what point can you be like, hey, like, we more or less know that these guys are bullshitting us, so we're just gonna dismiss what they say because we know that what they're saying is bullshit? Like, they're wasting our time. Did I? Well, if I did it, it was unconscious, Mike. It was done against my will. It was the dick was acting through me. The dick got me acting strange. It was not through my own choice. Welcome in, Aprak. You came in at just the right time. You heard what I said, and if you didn't, just check Mike's serial clips. No GF, because Mike clips small. But I hope you're doing well, Eprak. I hope you're doing better than Ando. I'm actually not doing too bad. I'm just not back in action yet, which is a pain because I would like to be, and I know that work is piling up. Because I got a call from work today being like, hey Ando, we got some guys around to test some stuff. Do you reckon you can give us a hand with that? And I was like, sorry, I'm off sick today. So I know when I get back, there's going to be a bunch of emails being like, hey Ando, this thing didn't work. Can you fix it? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm still sick. I'm still recovering. The upside though is that I did sound pretty sick today, so when I got that phone call, I got to be like, oh yeah, I'm off sick. Because I remember, this is a story from years ago, back when I was in high school. So believe it or not, your boy Ando, once upon a time, had singing lessons. Because I'm not particularly musical, but my dad was kind of insistent that I be. Because my dad loves music, and I love my father, but he doesn't understand that the world is not him. My father is one of those people where the world would be a better place if everyone was him, because everyone would just agree and get along. And so he is perpetually confused when, like, you know, like my father's, he's a really nice guy, and he's one of those people where, like, he's confused by why there are shit people in the world, because he's like, but why would you do that? Why would you just not be nice to people? but by the same token, he really loves music, so he's like, there's a lot of stuff where he'd be like, Ando, you should get a proper hobby, like music. So years ago, back in high school, I had to do some form of musical lesson, and so I wound up doing singing because it felt like it had the least investment in it. And I remember I was supposed to have a lesson that day, but I cancelled it because I was like, "Did you get Mike? Believe it or not, he said that. He said almost that exact phraseology. So, and he doesn't mean it in a mean way, but he has in fact said that. Yeah, one day I was sick. I had like just horrible amounts of phlegm in my chest. And I texted my singing instructor who worked at the school, and I was like, yeah, I'm not coming in today. Like, I'm fucked. Like, I'm not singing. I didn't hear back from her. And then right after, so I normally had my like singing lessons at lunch. Right after lunch, I was heading off to class, and halfway up the stairs, I just started coughing up like a lung. Like, I was fucking dying. I thought I was gonna choke and die. Like, I was like coughed up this like huge, like fist-sized lump of phlegm, right? Like immense loogie, right? Fucking cough that shit out, right? Here's the problem. I sounded fine after I'd coughed out that fucking like furball, yeah? And that was exactly when I ran into my singing teacher. And she was like, Ando, why didn't you come to lesson today? And I was like, oh, like, I'm sick. And she's like, you don't sound sick. And all I could really do was like, because it was like, yeah, I don't fucking sound sick. But if you'd been here a minute and a half ago, you would have heard me literally fucking dying. And then you would have been like, oh fuck, this kid cannot sing today. But no, like my dad's cool. I like my dad. We don't agree on everything, but like, I understand that he generally means well. Like for instance, he loves being a grandfather. He loves being a father. So when my brother had kids, he was like, Ando, you too should have kids because having kids is fun. And I'm generally pretty like, you know, I don't know if I really want kids. I feel like that's something I would figure out if and when I have a partner who's also willing to have kids. And I don't want to set out to get a partner with the objective of someone to have kids with, if that makes sense. It's not something I want to set as an objective. Hang on. Pick this shit up. Yeah, I get that. And like mum and dad will talk about how good I am with my brother's kids. And they'll be like, yeah, you would be a good dad. And my brother has also said that, like, my brother's been like, hey, Ando, you'd be a good dad. But again, I am very lazy. And also I have many things that I wish to do that are not children. And so I would prefer to do the many things prior to having children. Because I don't think I am capable of being one of those insanely capable people who get all the things done. Yeah. No, I can understand that, Mike. See, the thing with me with kids, right, is that, like, again, I can deal with kids, and I can probably deal with kids for a reasonable amount of time. It's not necessarily the short bursts thing. The problem with me is that the milestone that I have to pass first is living with another person. And hang on. I am very much, I don't want to say set in my ways, but like, I don't know. I'm not always good at managing anyone more than myself. Like, you know, I can look after me, but once other people get added to that equation, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to manage this. So like having to organize an entire household, yeah, I don't know. And also as I was saying, like the absolute mad lads, like one of my history lecturers, she was an absolute crazy woman in the best way. In the sense that she was like, oh yeah, I was doing my history PhD whilst pregnant with my first child, and was working on a government, like a history report into like child abuse in the Catholic Church or something like that. Like she was doing a bunch of insane shit. And I'm like, great, like, you know, go nuts. I don't think I could do that. I don't think I have the mental bandwidth to do all those things. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there are some other options there, Mike. Right. Because I mean, like, here's the thing, right? I feel like even if you're aromantic, yeah, even if you don't want to have like a romantic relationship with someone, you could probably have like a roommate. And if the roommate had kids, you could probably be like, hey, I'm not your dad, but I'm your dad equivalent. I am Uncle Mike. Or whatever. You know. I don't know. I don't judge people's living circumstances. Alright? Find what works for you. Yeah, no, and again, that's fair. Like that is one that is a bit awkward. Particularly the adoption, particularly in Australia. Australia has a lot of weird regulations on adoption, and a lot of that comes from the fact that we kind of mistreated our indigenous population. Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions around adopting. If you're a non-hetero white couple, there's some really weird restrictions on adoption. Which can be kind of weird in some regards, because one of my high school teachers did the whatchamacallit. Yeah, again, it's one of those tricky things where it's like a lot of it is because of past malpractice, I guess. But yeah, weird one of my high school teachers did was he did the whole like what's her name? Was in Angelina Jolie thing, the Angelina Jolie Brad Pitt thing, in that he and his wife, who have biological kids, they went to Africa to like do teaching and mission work, and then like while they were over there adopted like 2 kids. So they have like 2 kids who are biologically theirs, and then another 2 kids who are like African orphans they adopted, and now live with them in Australia. It's, yeah, I don't know, it kind of weirded me out a little bit. Because like I'm sure they love those kids, and I'm sure they, like, you know, provide for them and everything, but it also does feel a little bit weird to, like, I don't know, kind of just pick up 2 kids in a foreign country and be like, cool, you're coming back to Australia with us. Yeah, again, I don't know if they did it for the clout, because again, like these were people who went over there to teach, like with a good reason. Like they went over there as teachers to teach because they were like, hey, we want. And also remember, again, I went to a Christian high school a lot of Christian teachers there. So I think a lot of it very much was we want to go out into the world and make a difference and, like, you know, help the communities there. But at the same time, yeah, it did feel a bit shady. But our school did kind of have a connection to a lot of, like, mission work. Not like heaps of it, but there was a bit. One of our alumni did, like, a lot of work with like clearing landmines and stuff in Africa. It was also, oh man, this was awkward. So obviously I went to the Christian school, but the one that wasn't that Christian, like the one that was, you know, it was more of an academic institution first and a religious institution second. But we still had chapel every Thursday. Yeah, Thursday was chapel. Which meant we had to go and, I don't know, listen to people sing about Jesus for half an hour or whatever. Which I didn't really care about because, like, again, I wasn't for it or against it in the sense that it was usually 45 minutes of me not having to do anything. But sometimes they would get guest speakers to come along and talk about how great Jesus was or whatever. And, you know, like that, they varied a bit. Some of them were alumni who were like, you know, oh, hey, I went out into the world and became a doctor and, you know, helped people, but then I decided that wasn't enough, so now I've become, you know, a minister and I preach the good word or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But one year they had this dude who came who was a bishop or some shit from Africa. And he had kind of an inspirational story in that he was like, he like grew up an orphan, like under a bridge sort of thing. And like, you know, like a really, really shit childhood. I think he was either in like a criminal gang or like a pseudo military unit or something like that. Like he was basically a child soldier. Like, again, really, really rough story and in some ways really inspirational. And then he talks about how he, you know, found Jesus and how his life became better and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, really, really great for a very white Anglican high school audience to hear. You know, isn't this lovely? This guy improved his life because of Jesus. The end, right? Except for the bit where he finished his speech and then proceeded to talk about how, like he was basically saying, like, you know, I should remind you that we need to continue our fight against, like, evil, and that, like, you know, imagine that I could not have continued my path towards being, like, you know, a better person if I had never had the chance. And so, you know, abortion is bad and, like, homosexuality is bad and all this stuff. And you could visibly see the reverend, like the guy who was the school chaplain at our school being like, like can we stop this? Can we just turn the mic off? Can we everyone clap for the reverend and he can go now. Yeah, that was a really fucking awkward experience. Yeah, welcome to Ando's high school stories. Because again, unlike the other Christian high schools, the ones that were happy to discriminate against the gays openly, ours was the one that liked to have at least a pretense of not discriminating against the gays. Which I always thought was kind of lame. Yeah, there was a couple of things that happened with that, with some people in my year. There was someone who, for their senior... Actually, I think she was the year above us, but for her senior art project... she was openly very gay, and for her senior art project had a thing like her dedication, basically talked about how it was all about her queer experience and stuff. And for the presentation night where they show off all the senior artworks, they made her change it. They were like, you can have it for your official submission, but for when all the rich sponsors and stuff come along to look at it, just talk about how it makes you happy or whatever. Just don't talk about being gay. She got kind of pissed off by that, and rightfully so. Exactly. If you're gonna do something, commit, cowards. So yeah, we were the school that was like, we'll discriminate against the queers, but do it on the down low, where no one's looking, as opposed to the more egregiously Christian schools where they were like, no, we'll do it openly. So I'm pretty sure one of the other schools got into like a several years long legal dispute over firing someone. To be fair, my school also did. Pretty sure they got into a legal stoush for firing someone for being a single mother or something. I don't know. Well, that's what she claimed, at least. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, Mike. Just hurt them where the bruises don't show. Hurt them in ways that they can't prove that you've hurt them. Gaslight them. Welcome to advanced bigotry. I don't know, because again, like, and that's the other thing as well, like, there's a difference between the institution and people at the institution. Because I know some folks at the institution who were, like, pretty damn progressive and were not, at least they told me, like, privately after I graduated, were like, yeah, not on board with some of those decisions regarding some of that stuff. Flip it out of context, Mike. I don't care. Like, the amount of things that get clipped out of context of other VTubers, I really don't care. I think I am too small for anything to really matter. Like, at this point, I've become so embittered to clipping. Like, that's the thing, I like clipping fun moments. But I feel like the clipping ecosystem as it exists has degraded. I mean, I don't know if I might, I don't know, I can't think of anything that Cooksy's done that's too egregious. Like, Cooksy's are generally okay, I think. But I know there are a lot out there where it's like, such and such a VTuber addresses the controversy, and like, you watch the clip because, oh god, how dare I not engage with clickbait, and suddenly there is nothing even resembling what the title was saying. Yeah, out of context, like, it's not even out of context clips, it's like clips that have zero match to what the actual description is. That's what I'm salty about. Yeah, again, like, I can't complain too much, Mike, just because I know, like, how do I put this before I die? There is kind of a symbiosis between clippers and VTubers. Like, it's part of the way things have worked since this really started becoming a thing back in 2020. And I don't really blame the clippers so much as I blame YouTube and the YouTube metrics. I'm going to be talking about this stuff on Thursday. I've been working, well, because it's gotten delayed, I've been working on it for 2 weeks. But as I've said before, I am a great believer in secure the bag by any ethical means. You know, so long as you're not robbing someone, do what you got to do to secure the bag. And it is unfortunate reality that, you know, YouTube and stuff, the algorithm on YouTube encourages a certain type of content. And, you know, you got to go where the numbers take you. Well, yes and no. So you gotta either go where the numbers take you or resign to, you know, fighting the uphill battle. But the unfortunate reality is that, yeah, YouTube kind of prioritizes videos that have similar titles. So if everyone's making videos that are like X flashbangs Y, then, oh, it is the cool S. Fucking, I knew it. I knew the cool S would be here. This thing's a fucking SCP, I guarantee it. Because no one knows where it came from. Yeah. That one's, yeah, again. And I agree with you on the whole gray area of secure the bag ethically. Hey, PTV overlay Leander? Hello, welcome in. My name is Ando. I'm sick at the moment, so we're power washing and kind of just vibing. How you doing? Yeah, I kind of agree with that, Mike. I think it depends in the sense of, I mean, maybe it's just me. I don't consider a flashbang to be especially sexual. Yeah, Mike tie horsing. Thank you. I'm glad you're doing good, and I will hopefully feel better soon. I need to figure out where the last of this dirt is. Because for me, I feel like a flashbang, the whole point, like the point that makes it amusing, is that it's the Twitch TOS, the tyrannical Twitch TOS violation, as opposed to actually being lewd. But I definitely agree, and like, I know that there are some tubers out there who have complained of being like, hey, it says here in the bio, do not lewd the VTuber, and I'm kind of like, okay, people should respect that. Will the ladder go here? I think the ladder will go here. I need to clean this section. I need to clean that. Yes. I may not be as talkative as I usually am at the moment, because I'm trying to preserve my voice a little bit. But we vibe here. Power Wash is kind of one of my chill games, but I do a couple of other things. At the moment, the main two I'm grinding through are Pacific Drive and Another Crab's Treasure. I got a couple of other things on the list that I want to get started on. I want to do, whatchamacallit, Kingdom Come Deliverance, because they've announced number 2. And so I want to, I'm stuck. Yeah, I want to play Kingdom Come, so I can run around and, I don't know, be a peasant, and people will be like, Henry's come to visit us. Praise Jesus Christ. The gate. Ah, the gate. Yeah. No, I get where you're coming from. I feel like it's a complex problem, Leander, because like he's like I've had this discussion with some people, because Pomato, who I follow, Pomato is quite cool. They're a Canadian streamer, and she was basically saying, look, it's happening so much on Twitch at this point that Twitch should just add, like, Twitch should add a not safe for work category, you know, separate it out and you know, make sure that people who shouldn't be in the not safe for work category aren't, etc. You know, stop letting them be in categories where they shouldn't be and things like that. Because, you know, you can't get rid of it. And I was kind of like, look, I broadly agree. I think the problem, I think there's a couple of problems. One is a lot of these people who do adult work, the reason why they're on Twitch is because they're getting pushed out of spaces that are more appropriate for adult work. A great example is that when OnlyFans were being like, oh, by the way, we're going to change our policy so you won't be able to do sexy content on here anymore. And all the people who, you know, do OnlyFans for a living were like, shit, what am I going to do? Now, ultimately, that didn't go through. But it's the same with how, like, Gumroad and stuff have just announced they're not allowing adult content anymore. Patreon have just made a bunch of changes. Oh yeah, no, and I 100% agree. Like, again, Twitch primarily is a gaming platform, and things like that, and I think it should stay that way to a certain degree. But I think part of the reason why they are coming here is because the spaces that are available for them are decreasing. It's the same with, like, people say, hey, kids shouldn't be in certain parts of the internet. Like, people say, hey, there are too many kids on Twitch, and I kind of agree. Like, I feel like there are people of a young age who shouldn't be on Twitch or on Kick or whatever. Kick especially, because that place is just arse. But like a great example someone said recently was it, thank you for the follow.
Where are they?
A point that someone raised recently was they were like, think of all the like kids internet places from your youth, right? At least from my youth, because I'm an old hag. But they're like, think of all the kids internet places from your youth, like Club Penguin and stuff like that, and like Neopets and things like that, right? Most of the places for kids on the internet are gone, right? Like Club Penguin's gone. Neopets is kind of a shell of itself. Like, the idea is that the spaces available on the internet are becoming... Oh yeah, no, again, I 100% agree with you, Mike, in terms of how they apply the rules. The rules are garbage, and it's 100% due to capitalism. It's 100% due to the fact that they are willing to allow some of this stuff because, well, again, this is the other one as well, where Pornhub's becoming increasingly restricted as well, because a lot of it actually has to do with companies like MasterCard or PayPal. So, like, for instance, PayPal won't allow you to use PayPal to handle adult services, right? You can't use PayPal if you had an adult services business, whatever it was, you know, in full compliance with the law, right? PayPal will still be like, hey, nah, we won't let you use our service to service this. You know, like, there's a lot of stuff in here where, again, it's just an overall constriction of the internet. Things are becoming less. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Again, like, there is no shortage of problems here, Mike. I can't cover all of them. But let's go skate park floor because we can see which area. Oh, fuck, it's huge. Try. Mike, I'm sick. Do you really expect me to try when I'm sick? Speed run. But again, I think the main problem here is that we're just in an increasingly restricted in an environment. Like, you know, you're right. Twitch's rules are bad because Twitch benefits from the rules being bad. Yeah, exactly. Like, again, there's content on there that shouldn't be on there and obviously should be dealt with. So yeah. No, Mike, I tried and I failed, they tried and they died. I know how the Gom Jabbar test works. Point is, yeah, there's horrible stuff on there and horrible stuff should be restricted and regulated, obviously, right? But there's also restrictions that exist for no good purpose, and there's also restrictions that exist purely for, I guess you could say, financial benefit. So again, Twitch's rules are poorly enforced. And you may pet Zerturtle, but there is no head pat, unfortunately, because I have been too lazy. Gold, please. This is not Reddit. There shall be no gold here. No, but again, like Twitch poorly enforces its rules because it benefits from them, right? Twitch gets that sweet ad revenue when you know, people show up to look at a titty streamer or whatever. So they'll say like, oh no, bad, how dare you do a hot tub stream with no hot tub or whatever. Slap them on the wrist, but again, they don't really care because they want money. But again, like, a lot of it is, there are certain services that are being over-regulated for no real good reason. And it is an interesting, I wouldn't call it a debate, but like, I got in a quandary about this a while back, where someone was basically saying, hey look, PayPal can refuse to provide transaction services for whatever the hell they want because they're a private business and they're entitled to do so. And I'm kind of like, well, yeah, no, that's exactly it. And I think also, I wouldn't say people don't care, but I am a firm believer in proactively engaging with your children's hobbies. It's one of those things where I hate it when parents are all like, the damn video games. I don't understand the damn video games. I don't understand, like, you know, it's them anime turtles on the internet sending my kid astray. And it's like, okay, well, this is your fault for having not taken an active interest in your child's hobbies, right? If you actually, like, you know, talk to your kids for once, these things are pretty easy to avoid. Oh yeah, exactly, Mike, exactly. Although I am a little bit surprised they do it well. I think with VTubers, they've been overly proactive, for a reason, and I think that reason is, how do I put this? Because the IRL streamers tend to push the boundaries, right? The IRL streamers tend to be very creative in how they skirt the rules. I think they were like, we need to crack down on the VTubers early so that people don't just start animating themselves, right? Like, so people don't just go, hey, you know, I'm not allowed to have real titties, but I can have fake ones. Which is why when they put in the artistic nudity thing, things immediately went to shit. We expected that. But again, like, so the quandary I was talking about was that, like, I was reading a thing and a guy was basically saying that, like, part of the reason why a lot of these problems are happening is because of the fact that, like, PayPal and MasterCard are restricting their usage on adult services. And then the counterpoint was, well, they're private companies, they're allowed to restrict what like, you know, they're allowed to refuse service. But then I was kind of thinking to myself, okay, but if we're in a scenario, like a modern scenario, where the only way to make this financial transaction is to use one of these services, do we now find ourselves in a scenario where, like, you know, I have no alternative? It's kind of like there is no private way for me to, or like, I guess an individually private way for me to make this transaction. Like, you know, if PayPal decided to, they could be like, hey, we're not going to allow you to make this transaction to your insurance company or to, you know, to whatever, just this company we don't like. And it's like, okay, well, if you're now an indispensable part of the financial sector, you know, how is it that you can refuse to make these transactions? Like, it's my money, even if that money no longer exists as a physical Yeah. See, I thought the green screening Splatoon stuff was funny. I thought the hentai stuff was a bit over the top. Like, I thought the concept of just making the Splatoon goo a chroma key and making it show something was a clever idea, and it was funny, right? The idea of, like, hey, we'll show hentai and have to make sure that there's not enough that we don't get banned, I thought it was also funny, but at the same time I was like, this is pushing the envelope, right? Like, this is gonna cause problems, because that's the thing as well. You can find something amusing whilst also going, this is going to cause issues. Yeah, exactly. People take it too far, and again, it's that classic problem of secure the bag by any means. Right? We're all out here just trying to make do, trying to make our bit. Yeah. No, again, Mike. I don't think CEO. Again, I don't think CEO is mad about real boobs versus IRL boobs. I think it is. I agree with you that VTubing is a niche, and again, I think it's more about the risk versus the reward, right? Like, someone like Amaranth, yeah, she is without a doubt one of the biggest streamers on Twitch. Yeah, love her or hate her. And again, my opinion on her is apathy. Like, I have no thoughts on her. But she is one of the biggest streamers on Twitch, which means she makes the money. Which basically means that, like, they're going to be more willing to forgive her indiscretions because she makes the money. Right? Whereas a VTuber who is probably, you know, big but smaller is again more of a liability than an earner, in the sense of, like, the ratio of how much money they get from them compared to any problems that may be caused is different. The other factor, man, I didn't expect the 6 streams to go this heavy. But the other point is that, like, again, I think particularly with VTubing, they were worried about setting a precedent, right? They were worried about people going, well, it's okay if it's 2D. And I'll definitely 100% admit, like, some of their rulings have been absurd. Like, some of the Shy Lily ones were fucking stupid, where they were like, oh yeah, this would have been permitted for someone else, but because it's you, we're not going to let you wear this, like, absolutely fucking amazing outfit. Niana's had the similar one where she got her new model done by Dia Riku, and Dia is an absolutely fucking phenomenal artist. And that model lasted all of 1 streams before Dia had to rework it because Twitch were like, no, immediate ban. Oh yeah, no, again, like, Mouse probably has a bit, but even then, not that much. Someone like Mouse has the advantage of... Hang on. So, someone like Mouse or Zentreya or whatever, they have the advantage of being in a company, right? And companies do come with advantages in that, if you're in a company, like, you have an official company department to represent you, sort of thing. Like, you have someone who is on your legal team or whatever. Like, there's stuff that you can do. It's one of the reasons why, if you want to VTube in Japan, you almost need a company, because particularly in Japan, Japanese companies will not interact with you as an individual. If you email the Japanese game company being like, hey, I'd like to try out your new game, they'd be like, okay, what company do you represent? And if you were like, oh, I don't, they'd be like, fuck off. Whereas if you show up and you're like, hey, I'd like to try your new game, and they go, okay, what company do you represent? And you can go, oh, I work for Ando's VTubing agency. They'd go, okay, well, hook us up with the PR people from Ando's VTubing agency, which is totally not just Ando in a mustache. And then they would, you know, proceed to actually do things. So having a company can help in that regard, in that you can have people who have like contacts and things. Where's the last bits of dirt on this fucking thing? But yeah, even then, their sway with Twitch is probably limited. If you're big enough on Twitch, I know they do this thing called partner managers, who are basically like people you can contact to help get things resolved. But even then, I don't fully know. I don't know how you actually get well. But they're not a permanent thing. They're only if you're big enough. And again, I don't fully know what the details of it are. Spoke sets, apparently. Oh, there we go. Beth Ryerson. We have washed. We have washed successfully. But it is, love it or hate it, it is the unfortunate reality of kind of streaming. Like, at the moment, we only really have two choices, which is YouTube or Twitch. Neither of which are great in my opinion. I went with Twitch because I like Twitch as a platform better. I like redeems. I like emotes and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of the super chat system on YouTube. And yes, I know there are other streaming platforms, but well, I'm not going to Kick. If Twitch died tomorrow, I would not even go anywhere near Kick. Funny that I said, hey, YouTube, the craze. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's kind of true, Mike, but I'm not really sure how much that helps, because I remember a couple of years back there was some controversy. Who was it? Was it the Mighty Jingles? I don't know. There was someone who was having a problem with YouTube, and like they had a YouTube manager, and they were part of a YouTuber agency, and there's all this other stuff that was going on, and it was like they could not get someone at YouTube to answer their fucking question, like even going through their YouTube manager and stuff like that. Like, it was one of those things of, it's just like there seemed to, like, it was you know, no one was home, the office was empty that week, sort of thing. Like, it was yeah, again, I don't know what it actually means. I don't actually know what it means, but and again, also, I think it depends on what the nature of the problem is, because there are probably some stock problems where they're like, okay, cool, you're having issues with like false DMCA claims. Cool, we can deal with that. But if you have something a bit more bespoke, something a bit more weird, there might be some shit where suddenly, you know, everything becomes quiet because it's a case of, oh shit, I need to refer this up the chain. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Because, like, monopolies are one of these strange things. Because, I mean, that's arguably what we have. Like, YouTube has a monopoly on the video services platform. I would argue Twitch has a monopoly on the streaming services platform. YouTube's contesting it, but, you know, for the moment at least. And monopolies can, in some ways, be a good thing. Like, Steam, in a lot of ways, has the monopoly on the game services platform, and people are usually pretty content with that. But yeah, monopolies can be weird things in terms of what the monopoly decides it wants versus what the user base wants. I mean, I could chain these nuts, Mike. It's an option. Don't test me. Ah, welcome in, Avatar. You're correct. These nuts are not mad. They're just disappointed. Ding. Alright, looks like it's time for the fire station. The big boy. How you doing, Avatar? Do you wish to participate in Sick Ando's rambles about, I don't know, fucking capitalism or whatever? Was that the... I need the extra long boy. Ugh. Come back for the railings later. Everyone seems to be sick at the moment. I swear to God. I swear to God, like everyone is. Like Decaf is sick. I'm sick. I raided Peep last night and they were sick. Like, it's everyone. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I blame Nagi. It's Nagi's fault somehow. What do you mean Nagi isn't curious? Nagi's always curious, and it's always for the detriment of everyone else. This is why we don't let him touch the masks in Lethal Company. Ah, I see. I'd much rather not being sick. It's weird. Ando has never been a particularly ambitious person. But I'm getting to a stage in my life where I have timelines for things. I would like to get stuff done. So it does annoy me when I get sick or when other things delay me, where it's like, I would like to, you know, proceed, please. I would like to move on and try some things. Yes, being sick is kind of... No, but like... Mike, my mum literally said that to me today. I rang up, well, we were talking on the phone, and like I'd mentioned that I'd been sick, and she was like, okay, Ando, like, look after yourself. Oh, and also, she was like, don't die. Dying is bad for you. And I was kind of like, yes, mum, like, dying is bad for you. That, by definition, that's what dying is. But it's more in the sense of, like, I know that being sick is gonna backlog me on a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna have to play catch up, and I hate having to play catch up. Like, I would much rather prefer to be proceeding at the same pace that I was and moving towards achieving certain things that I wanted to achieve, your boy has a shell for a reason, all right? Your boy is not flexible. I don't like being agile. I would much rather proceed at a constant pace. Is that a snill? I don't know, maybe. But yeah, it's more just, again, I hate having to play catch up. Ugh, well, that train of thought died. Alright, where's my bigger nozzle? Mike, you should never trust Spotify to have good shit on it. Should never trust Spotify to know what it's talking about. Does it though, Mike? Because my understanding was that it had to do, it wasn't just the graphics, it had to do with the processor, and that determined how many notes could be played at once. Like, okay, like, again, correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding was the differentiation between 8, 12, and 32, or whatever it is, bit music, was that it had to do with, again, like, the amount of bits in the processor of the game, and thus, like, how many notes could be played at once. But clearly I have been corrected of my wrongness. Ah, yes, I see. And yeah, of course it depends on the hardware. That's one of the fun ones, is I work with a lot of equipment at work that is like, oh yeah, it's this bolted to this with this uses an interface or whatever. And oh fuck me, sometimes like some of the shit I have to deal with where they're like, oh yeah, like it's coded like this because it's a 30-year-old fucking system, and this old system does it this way. So like for a great example is I was working with this old HMI system called MacReview. MacReview's now defunct, like they don't support it anymore, I'm pretty sure, at least. And one of the things that MacReview does is it buffers comms. So if you set 2 bits in sequence, if you set bit A to 1 and then like bit A to 0 again, it will always send it as 1 0. It'll never get it mixed up because it buffers it. And we found out that they do annoying shit. Whoever designed the system we were working on, they do annoying shit where they use that as a pulse without actually doing a proper pulse. And I'm just like, oh, you bastards. Like, why would you, well, I don't know if MacroView has a pulse capability or not, but I'm just like, why would you do stupid shit like this? Why not just use a sensible command? And like, again, that's fair. Like, I respect that people can make stuff with a limited number of notes. I mean, you know, the Super Mario theme is a banger for a reason. Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of classic game hardware. Heck, I don't even know the ins and outs of the hardware I work with. Because so much of it is just kludged together. On the one hand, hopefully I'm healthy enough to go back to work tomorrow. On the downside, I don't want to fucking go to work tomorrow. Like, it's like, I got shit to do, but at the same time, fuck that, I got shit to do. I don't want to be there. Yeah. See, I'm curious, Mike, because there may very well be a reason for that. The gods of the come and they bring murder? What's going on? That crow. That crow? They bring a moida? Oh, hello everyone. Hello, hang on, give me a second. Hi. My name is Ando and I'm currently dying. Give me a hot second. Let me do the shout outs. Alright, oh no. Fuck, I've got caps lock on. I've got cruise control for cool on. I'm currently sick, so bear with me. Alright. That crow. No. Did that work? God of War, nice. Oh, the OG God of War. Athena! Skeletons. Yeah, welcome in everyone. Hi. I'll give you a little bit more perspective. Hi, my name is Takame Ando. The illusion has been ruined. You can just call me Ando for short. I am a turtle. I just waved at the camera and you can't see that. I don't know why I did that. I'm currently fucking dying. My health has not been great this past couple of days, so I'm just chilling and playing Power Wash. How's everyone doing? How you all doing? Get comfy, Raiders, if you want to just hang out and chill and chat. If not, by all means, go touch grass, go sleep, do all the things you need to do. Call me Hando. No, don't fucking do that. Don't listen to Mike. This is Mike. He's our resident mischief maker. Don't listen to him. But how's everyone else doing? Welcome in. I'm glad to have you here. Welcome in, not this. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's all good. I'm surviving. I'm improving. I'm better than I was. Give me a second. Let me just Water. Yeah, so we're just taking it easy and doing some power wash because it's chill and it doesn't require too much brain power. And Mike was just explaining to me the ins and outs of Game Boy music programming. And I was about to talk about why the reason why I think a bunch of the stuff was never used was probably because of cost. Well, cost to value. Because I know the Power Glove or whatever that Nintendo developed at one point, the original prototype was far better than the actual production version because the prototype was too expensive. So they had to switch out a lot of the control gear for less effective content. Like I think they were originally used micro switches for the fingers, but they had to switch them out for like ink-based things that were often far worse fidelity. But anyway, yeah, I'm a turtle. I stream Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 Australian daylight time. Are we in daylight time at the moment? I think we are. Anyway, that's my usual time. How was God of War? Rob ROB, he was for Super Nintendo, I think. He was a SNES boy, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, exactly, Mike. And also, does it take up any more space compared to a regular function? Ah, excellent. On to the second. Yeah, I never really got into God of War back in the day because it was kind of like across too many platforms. It was like... Because it was like on PlayStation and then it was on like the... What was it called? The PSP. Man, there's a platform. I know some people who are still sad the PSP died. I had some friends who are real PSP stans. Turns out, though, you just can't unseat Nintendo from that handheld market, though, can you? What was Rob Ness? Okay, maybe I was wrong. I thought Rob was SNES, but maybe I was wrong. Yeah, okay, that's fair, Mike. I was just thinking more a case of like, okay, you have this one cool function you can use in a song, but if you have a video game that has maybe 10, like, let's say the video game has 10 levels, each with a different song, you have to fit 10 songs on the game cartridge. Does that like, that funky feature impact your ability to fit 10 songs on the game cartridge? I don't know. But yeah, I never had a PSP. Again, my friends had. I tried it out. It was okay. I kind of hated the little joystick thing. The thing is, my eyesight's not great. So, like, handheld gaming is no longer a thing for me. I can't really play Game Boys and stuff anymore. The screens are just too small. Was Rob for NES? Okay. Well, there you go. You learn something every day. Ah, yeah. All in one PS3. Okay. Well, again, I'm glad that you're getting through them. Yeah, and again, that's probably sensible as well, Mike. Like, we have a principle we use at work called R&D. It does not stand for research and development. It stands for roll and duplicate. Why make a thing twice when you can steal it from a project you've already done? So, I frequently do that. And again, I don't mind reused assets. Like, the king of reused assets is Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. R&D's nuts. One day I'll get a capture card and I'll play my Nintendo 64 on stream. But Majora's Mask was Like, it was the king of reused assets, because the vast majority of assets in that game were reused from Ocarina of Time. Like, shamelessly. And I really should get around to reading the lore. There's a lore thing that explains, like, all of the lore of all the Zelda games. Because there are some characters in Majora's Mask who, like, are the same characters from Ocarina of Time. And I've heard a thing where I'm not sure if it's a theory or if it's true, but it's like, oh yeah, Ocarina of Time is the real story, and then Majora's Mask is like Link trapped in purgatory after he dies or something. And I was like, huh? And it was like, that's why everyone from Ocarina of Time is there. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is true or if this is a Tumblr fan theory. So I need to find me some facts. Yeah, no, again, I agree. But again, like in Majora's Mask, because I played Ocarina of Time, it was really weird encountering certain characters and being like a great example is Inigo. So Inigo runs the bar in Ocarina of Time, and he's actually kind of a sad character. So not in Ocarina of Time, in Majora's Mask, he's actually kind of a sad character. In Ocarina of Time, Inigo is a huge prick. He's the guy who tries to steal the ranch from the daughters, from the Lon Lon sisters. And he's a huge dick, and he cheats. And so, like, I kept encountering him in Majora's Mask and not trusting him at all. I also found it hilarious how in yeah, not quite. He doesn't steal the daughters so much as he steals the ranch. But the one that is kind of funny in Majora's Mask is the guy who's the beggar in Kakaira Village in the guy who's the beggar in Kakaira Village in Ocarina of Time. They reused his model for the guy who runs the bank in Majora's Mask in the city. I can't remember what the city's called. Is it Clock Town or whatever? But yeah, he's the guy who runs the bank, and I find that shit just so funny. Like, I keep seeing him thinking to myself, damn, like, exactly, like the guy, through grit and determination, this guy made something of himself. You know, pulled himself up by his bootstraps. He was a beggar, now he's running the bank. No, Ellen, no. You're not gonna get me that easy, Avatar. I may be sick, but I'm not that easily bamboozled. Exactly, Mike. He's living the libertarian dream. Except without the miners. It may very well be, Mike. ¿Por qué no los dos, Mike? ¿Por qué no los dos? So, I don't think I've really talked about this on stream before, but I have a bit of a fixation on like just obscure music from other cultures, like, and I often find these things via memes, but there are songs that like a bit from it will get used as a meme, and then I'll go and listen to the actual song and be like, this is a banger, wind up finding up like way too much about it. So you all might remember from a couple of years ago the Chinese Tom and Jerry meme, the Ching Chong Hanchi meme, which is the like Tom on the record player spinning with the Chinese music playing. Thing is, I found out what song that's actually from, and it's actually two things. It's from a rap song, right? But the actual verse is from a famous Peking opera, and it's a verse that is really, really hard to sing, apparently. And that's the reason why the guy does it in his rap song. It's basically him flexing and being like, look how good of a rapper I am. I can rap the really, really hard Peking opera song. But the song from the Peking opera itself has also become kind of my jam. So I'll listen to it occasionally, but it's also fucking hilarious because every time I go to watch it, the comments section is always fucking hilarious. Because basically the premise of the song is, well, the premise of the opera is there's a guy who is a minor official in like a small town, and he gets noticed by like the king basically, and the king's like, hey, come to the capital and become one of my advisors and like marry my daughter. Now the dude in question is married, so by the way, oh nice, they did manage to survive. Very good, excellent. I like it. I like it when they survives. They'll hopefully have some appropriate injury to go with it, some long-lasting scars and trauma. Yes, my Dark Elf noble recently got made insane. He got injured and succumbed to madness. So now I had to roll, and it was either he would become stupid or he'd become frenzied. And he's now frenzied. What even song? Oh no, that crazy frog. Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about, Mike. Ring ning 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 mama 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 mama. Fucking that fucking antsless frog. I like frogs, but not that one. Nice. Okay. Well, I'm glad they survived, because losing a player character always kind of sucks, because it always feels like you're starting from square one. So at least you know, you've got some stories. I mean, look, Wikipedia wouldn't be doing justice if it wasn't the biggest section. Am I right, Mike? But yeah, the point of the whole Ching Chong Hanchi song is that, like, the main subject of that play does the wrong thing, but because he's related to the king, no one's willing to call him out except for this one dude who's a lawyer who's like, you know, the embodiment of civic virtue, and he has this whole verse, which is the line from the song, which is him calling the guy out and being like, you know, read the charges upon the wall. Fu Ma is accused of, you know, disgracing his family and trying to kill his children and all this sort of stuff. And it's an absolute banger of a song. But all the comments are things like, the rap world been real quiet since this dropped. Like, Fu Ma ain't got no answer to this diss. And just, it's all just so, I don't know, every time I see that shit, I'm just like, fuck, I love the internet sometimes. Oofed. Space Hulk with Gene Stealers. Love me some Gene Stealy boys. I have the Space Hulk board game. It's fun. I haven't played it in years though. I really should. I should actually paint my models for it and then play it. Still spraying my jet around? Of course I am. Hang on, let's go to the... Or turbo nozzle. I needed these. I am not surprised by that, Mike, in the slightest. It's good at surfaces. Is there any actual difference? Cool. Oh, fuck yes. Oh yeah, this thing's cleaning way better. Hell yes. Money well spent. Give me that good shit. Oh, hell yes. Oh, yes, yes, yes. No, I saw that one, Mike. You fell for my trap. I spent 10 years convincing everyone that I'm a child molester just so they could get you to take false information in a diss track. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fully get it because I don't fully understand the concept of the rap beef. I don't fully understand why they are beefing. Like, it seems a little bit dick on the part of Kendrick because it seems to be like someone's like, hey, like, we're the big three or whatever, and Kendrick was like, nah, there's no big three, just big me. Like, that seemed to be a bit dick of like, wow, okay, buddy. Like, you really, like, and I get it. He is, by all accounts, good. But it does seem like a bit of a dick move. But again, I don't understand the full history behind it. But again, like, I've never fully understood diss tracks. I know people who've written diss tracks, and I'm like, I still don't get it. Like, just write a Reddit post like normal people. Write a twit longer like normal people. Yeah. No, it's Gray. It is 100% tweet. It's 100% tweet. It is still called Twitter, right? I don't care what Elon says. It's still called Twitter. I don't care if they're gonna force my URLs to say X. It's fucking Twitter, right? Like, when am I gonna let a corporation decide what words I use? This ain't fucking 1984. It's Twitter because I want to call it Twitter. Alright? Also, just hang on a second. I'm gonna crank the volume on this. Fucking magic sword. All right, apologies. Well, actually, no, fuck it. I don't apologize for that. But I'm actually, so that song was by Scandroid. I'm actually not a huge Scandroid fan, but the remix of that by Magic Sword with the guitar in it, holy shit, I love that guitar solo. It's one of the reasons why I like J-pop, but I don't like most Western pop music, because the Japanese seem to at least remember that guitars are a thing. Also, opinion from a streamer that I was watching recently, who you can probably guess who it was without me saying who it was, but I 100% agree with. Miley Cyrus should not be a pop musician. Miley Cyrus should make rock music. Because the song, what was it, Midnight Sky or whatever, the song she did that was like Stevie Nicks inspired, fucking slaps. Like, it's actually good. I don't know, just give me more fucking guitars, I swear to God. High on Life. Oh, that was that game that was basically entirely the Rick and Morty voice actor, wasn't it? I don't know. It seemed kind of obnoxious to me just because of the fact that I was at a point where I was like a little bit burnt out on the Rick and Morty style of comedy. Mike has opinion. Didn't we have this conversation the other day, Mike? Weren't you like, Miley seems like an obnoxious person, but not a terrible one? And I kind of agreed to a certain extent. I have problems with her Disney era where it was very much she was the product, which I don't like. I don't like that whole thing of like, you know, like Hannah Montana and then like Miley Cyrus and buy all the branded associated things. I don't like it when like people become the brand too much. Which I get it a little bit because I am a VTuber and that's kind of the thing, like we are the brand, but I don't like it when it suddenly becomes everything is the brand, buy my everything, buy the Ando themed lunchbox. I don't know. Also, that was an absolute vibe change. Going from health to like, whatever the hell this is. I don't know, I'll find out. The surface level opinion, as opposed to Mike's true opinion, the U-boat of opinions that lurks beneath the surface, waiting to torpedo Ando's opinions. The true threat of the Atlantic. Has it got Mike's Stocklasser? I didn't know about that. When are we gonna get the Space Cop, Time Cop or whatever it was game? See, the thing I love about Time Cop or whatever is the fact that Red Letter Media even are kind of like, yeah, we made a thing and it kind of sucked. Like, at least they kind of own the fact that it's not great. Yeah, but I feel like that could actually potentially be very funny. Like, that could potentially be hilarious if it's like each time you get to a level, the narrator is just like, holy fuck, why are you still playing? Like, I want to go home. You know, they said I didn't have to do the whole read if you didn't play the whole game. Well, I mean, how do I put this? Yes and no. I think, does it suck? Yes. But at the same time, they made something. So that's a step beyond, like, having not made something, if that makes sense. Like, they tried to make it schlocky, and they unfortunately slipped too far and fell into making it shit. But, you know, at least some effort was applied, as opposed to, like, the Glasgow Willy Wonka thing, where, like, it was clear absolutely zero effort was applied there. Also, speaking of, did you see the one that fucking happened in I think it was LA or whatever? The Bluey one? Again, I'm not sure about that, Mike. Like, this is the thing where, for me at least, I think it was they couldn't decide if they wanted to make a bad movie or they wanted to make schlock. And there's a difference, right? Because a bad movie is something like The Room or Who Killed Captain Alex. It's something that takes itself very seriously, but is put together either ineptly or on such a limited budget that it can't help but be less than what it wants to be. But ultimately becomes intriguing and charming because of that. Versus something like actually no, Samurai Cop I would say is also a bad movie, but like I'm trying to think what's something that's good schlock. Kung Fury. Not Kung Fury, but also Kung Pao, right? Kung Pao is not a bad movie. Kung Pao is schlock. Kung Pao is intentionally like, we're gonna take old Chinese kung fu movies, cut them together and redouble them and make something just fucking stupid, right? You actually know Black Dynamite as well. Black Dynamite, I'm not sure if, I don't know. Black Dynamite, yeah, I'll class Black Dynamite as schlock. Black Dynamite is good schlock, though. Like, I fucking love Black Dynamite. That film is one of my favorites. It's, like, I love it because of the fact that I feel like it takes, yeah, it's smart schlock. It takes ownership of a lot of the blaxploitation tropes. Yeah, no, there's a lot I like in Black Dynamite. Both the movie and also the animated TV show. I've been meaning to learn. So, you know, in the TV show, there's the thing that Head Ninja in Charge says. What is it? Ninjas do wrong to each other sometimes, and in that moment, the what is it? The alignment of the moon becomes unbalanced, and in that presence, what is it? It's like you're like you know, there's no grass growing. I gotta cut this grass, but I can't because there's no light coming through, and you can only be as ripe as the two ripes are wrong, or whatever the two fruits have to acknowledge, or whatever. Like, he has that whole absolutely fucking nonsense quote. And I've been meaning to learn that. I really want to learn it because I want to be able to say it on stream. What is it? Ninjas do wrong to each other, and in that presence, the orbit of the moon around the Earth comes unbalanced. I can't remember what it is. Fuck. The other one I love, and people don't notice this. I've pointed this out to people, and they go, "Oh shit, you're right." Pay attention to what the ninjas say. The Eminem's discussion. But yeah, pay attention to what the ninjas say when they attack people in Black Dynamite. Because what they actually do is they say what they're doing in just a really high-pitched kung fu voice. So they'll say stuff like, kick man in chest or whatever. They say it as, "Oh, kick man in chest." Like there's one where they break into the car, and the thing the thing the ninja literally says is "Let myself in car." It's "Oh, let myself in car." And I just find that the funniest shit of just like their martial arts technique is just saying what they're doing. Man, we need more Black Dynamite. Give me more. Give me more. Michael J. White, give me more. Oh yeah, another thing as well. So you know the pimp scene where there's the council of pimps, and Black Dynamite shows up and he does the whole, you know, I got one thing to lay on you and then I'm gonna split. You know, I'm declaring war on anyone who sells drugs in the community. And the guy who responds with but Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. Apparently that line was improvised. Yeah, apparently that line was, he just ad-libbed it on the spot, and they were like, cool, we're keeping it in. And it's in my opinion one of the funniest lines in the movie, and I'm just like, I'm so glad that got ad-libbed and left in. Hang on. I will allow this. Auto mod was didn't like the word shoot and black. I'm allowing it because of the fact that Black Dynamite is a character. Yeah, but again, that's part of what makes it, like, I think a good film is when a director knows, hey, this wasn't planned, but we'll leave it in anyway. Like, Monty Python and the Holy Grail has a fair bit of that. So the wizard in Monty Python and the Holy Grail was supposed to have some name, but on the spot, John Cleese couldn't remember it. So they go, wizard, what is your name? And he does some people call me, and you can clearly tell he doesn't know what he's fucking saying. He's forgotten the line. And he just goes, Tim? Like, you can hear the question mark in what he says. And they just decided to fucking keep it. And the other one as well is like, so putting aside that Chris Pratt is Chris Pratt, he has one of the funniest lines in Parks and Rec, which is and apparently he ad-libbed this one, which is that he's looking up symptoms on a computer, and he goes, okay, so according to the internet, you have connectivity issues. And that one just fucking gets me every time. Or network connection issues. I think that's the line he says. He says, according to the internet, you have network connection problems. And again, that's another line that got ad-libbed and left in, and I'm just like, yeah, alright. I don't like Chris Pratt, but I appreciate a good line. Oh, 100%, Mike. Also, I'm pretty sure part of the reason why Robin Williams got into a dispute with Disney back in the 90s had to do with ad-libbing. Because I think it was he ad-libbed a bunch of stuff. and he had something in his contract about getting paid per lines read or whatever, and they used a bunch of his ad libs in the movie because they were like, if we use the ad libs, we don't have to pay him, and he got mad about it or something, which again makes sense because Disney were kind of fucking him over. But so back in the day, this will probably surprise no one, but your boy was a theater kid. Your boy did some acting back in the day. And I actually did have to do some ad-libbing at one point. I'm not a huge ad-lib fan. I'm better at it than I was, but we were doing just some scene work, and it was the production was Oliver, and I was the Undertaker. And a friend of mine was playing Oliver, and another friend of mine was playing what's his name? Mr. It starts with a B. It's like Mr. Bimley or something like that. He's the guy who runs the workhouse. Liberal terms, Mr. Salbury. Liberal terms. And so, like, just to get like comfortable with the scene or whatever, our director was just like, just do some ad lib, right? Because the scene starts halfway through, right? Like, it starts halfway through a conversation. And she was just like, look, just ad lib it, like ad lib an introduction to this scene. What's going on before you start your actual lines, right? And my friend, who was very much an extrovert, who was playing Mr. Bimley or whatever, he, like, you know, walks on the scene with Oliver in tow, and he's all like, have I got a deal for you? Like, he does the like Billy Mays here thing. Like, he does the whole like, have I got a deal for you? It's stupendous, you know, it's tremendous, it's gonna make your life easier. And I just looked him deadpan in the eyes, put on my Undertaker voice, and just went like with like phenomenal timing. I just went, it's alive, and just whole room watching us on the fucking floor. I could never replicate it. I could never get it the same way the second time. It was just one of those moments where, like, just the exact beat of delivery was perfect. But yes, I enjoyed my theater years as a youth, but I didn't keep it up into adulthood for various reasons. Part of it was laziness. Part of it was also the fact that a lot of the people in, like, the adult scene of drama here, like stage acting and stuff, were people I didn't particularly like, and a lot of them were people who tended to get into shit with other people for no reason other than they had egos. Like, they were the sort of people who would, like, be someone's best friend one day and then next day would be like, I can't work with this person, how dare they? And just cause they wanted to, I don't know, have all attention be on them or whatever fucking thing was going on, I don't know. And I don't care about that. I just care about making nice things. I just want to do things, enjoyable things with other people who do enjoyable things. I have very little ego. And so I was like, you know what? If all the people with egos are just going to keep doing it, then I simply shall not. So I don't know, maybe I'm too zen, but, like, I'm one of those people where not everything has to be about me. In fact, a lot of the time I prefer it to not be about me. Yes, spoilers, Mike. I've been zen all along. This is my second channel. Hopefully that was an appropriate, I don't know, impersonation. Fuck it, Shoujo lawyers be coming for me now. Also, in case Shoujo lawyers are coming for me, happy birthday, Zentreya. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for keeping my ego in check. I don't know if I'd turn into Nagi. I feel like that's a fluke of various natural and unnatural causes. I don't think Nagi is a replicable state, right? I think Nagi is both a mystery and a crime to both man and God. You know, science has yet to determine how to replicate Nagi. Well, I mean, they are building a bigger one, Mike. They're building an even bigger particle accelerator, which I look forward to, because I remember when they built the first Large Hadron Collider, and everyone was like, oh no, they're gonna open a rift in space-time and destroy fucking reality or whatever. And my response to that was, good. Do it. Do it, cowards. Accelerate these nuts. The large hard-on collider. There we go. Fucking firefighters can't clean up after themselves. We actually have people who do this at work for the chimneys. They literally get lowered down on winches with like power washers and power wash the chimneys. That's a job I wouldn't want to do. Orphan core. Yeah, I guess that's it, Mike. We had a guy who went down. It was his first time on the line. Like, he'd been down before, but he hadn't actually been properly on the line. So he was going down there to do some work, replacing some computers. And he came back and he was just like, "Oh, Ando, like, it's so fucking greasy down there." I'm like, "Yeah, that's how it be." Because they were on a maintenance, they were doing maintenance, and I said, "Oh, did you see anyone wearing a sperm suit?" Sperm suits are what we call them. They're like a one piece all over, like they're like those biohazard suits basically. Like they're like a one covers everything except for like your face, and they're white, so we call them sperm suits. And you have to wear them when you go into certain areas of the mill, just because there's so much fucking grease that like you go in wearing one of these things and it's white, and they come out like just covered in black. Like, they're just greasy as fuck, and they just take the whole thing off and dispose of it. And yeah, he was just like, "Yeah, it's fucked how much grease there is." And I'm like, "Yes, it is." Don't go down to the sumps. They're full of oil. Anytime I have to go to the sumps, I fucking hate it. Because I always feel like I'm going to axe myself and die. Because the, again, like, full of oil, and even when the sumps have been drained, they're greasy as hell, and, like, you just have zero traction. I mean, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Also, good for Mortal Kombat, okay. Bad for everyone else, sure. Yeah, I watched the Mortal Kombat movie. Did I watch it on a plane? I think I did. I watched the Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, what a fucking disappointment. Like, so I think it is fundamentally very hard to make a Mortal Kombat movie, because the point of that game is that everyone's storyline is different. The storyline changes depending on who you pick to play as. But, like, the storyline for the film was atrocious. They added a new character for like zero reason. Gave him weird dragon powers. Well, it wasn't dragon powers. He has some like the golden armor or some shit like that. And I was like, why is this necessary? Why didn't you just make the main character Johnny Cage? Like, it would have been so much easier if you just made the main character Johnny Cage. He's washed up Hollywood actor. He accidentally gets roped into the King of Iron Fist tournament. Like, just do what the Mortal Kombat 2 storyline was, where Johnny Cage wins and saves Earthrealm. Even as a dumb fighting movie, I didn't enjoy it that much. I thought it was okay, but I've seen better dumb fighting movies. Again, I stand by my opinion of they should have just done the Mortal Kombat 2 story of follow Johnny Cage, have Johnny Cage win. Yeah, I think that could have worked. I'm trying to think, what's the best martial arts movie I've seen recently? I honestly can't think. I can't think of one. It's been a while. Now I might be biased because I love a lot of the classic martial arts movies. I love me some Shaw Brothers Kung Fu. Actually, no, I can think of it. John Wick 4. John Wick 4 was genuinely quite good. First John Wick is still best. Second and third are shit. Fourth is decent. And a large part of that was Donnie Yen being Donnie Yen. The Raid. I thought The Raid was okay. The Raid's one of those films where, in my opinion, it was done on a remarkably low budget and done quite well. It has some problems, mainly from how do I put this? You can tell that the people who knew how to do martial arts in that film knew how to do martial arts, but they didn't have anyone to be a tactical instructor, because there's a lot of times where they're doing like police shit, like, you know, stacking up to go through doors and stuff, and they do it wrong. They do it in a way that like is good enough. Like, it's good enough if you were like, if there were a bunch of dudes who were like, we don't know how to do this, but we can figure out a way to do it that will look like we kind of know what we're doing. They do that. But there's a couple of scenes, particularly like the gunfights in the stairwell and stuff like that, where I'm just like, clearly they didn't have someone on scene to be like, hey, this is how this would actually play out. This is how, like, you know, someone like trained professionals would actually conduct a gunfight in a stairwell. But the martial arts were generally pretty solid. There was a similar film I watched on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called. It's very similar to The Raid, but it was made in the Philippines. It's basically the Filipino version of The Raid, I would say. The plot line is, police unit goes into slums to find drug lord, get ambushed and get separated, and like have to fight their way through the slums and decide if are they gonna try and get out or are they gonna try and get the drug lord. And there's a bunch of twists to it. Buy Bust. Is that the name? Because no, I don't think that was the name of it. But whoop, falling down the stairs, Ando. But yeah, it had some pretty good fights. Because it basically just does turn into like an hour-long running fight scene as they're moving through the slum to try and, you know, find this drug lord. There are, again, and there were some interesting plot points to it. So one of them is they get this other, like, they're a squad, they're like a tactical squad or whatever, but they have this other guy who shows up who's like part of the federal police or something. Like, he's part of a different agency, and he's kind of like particular about certain things. And they took it. It's a very Filipino concept apparently, but they start referring to this concept of a Judas. And what I could gather was it basically means like a bent cop, a cop who's working for the drug lords or whatever. And so they like start accusing him of being like, hey, are you actually, because you kind of just showed up and like forced yourself on this investigation, are you actually here to, you know, help us, you know, close out this investigation, or are you here to, are you you know, here to stiff us and make sure that we fail. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff with that. And there's also a big thing at the end of like, they catch the drug lord or whatever. And he's like, yeah, cool. Put me in prison. I'll be out by the end of the day. Like there's a whole like, you know, just take the money and walk away moment sort of thing. I thought it was pretty good. Anyway. But yeah, I don't watch that many movies. The most recent movie I watched, hang on, Throat is Rebelling. Yeah, I think the most recent movie I watched was on Netflix, and it was Barbie or whatever. Just because I wanted to see if it met the hype. It doesn't. The movie was mediocre at best. Way overhyped. I think they had a little bit too much going on. There was some stuff in it that was good. There was some stuff in it that was meh. Exactly, Mike. You're shocked, you're not shocked. Which is basically exactly what that movie was. It was saying something without really saying something. I feel like it was what it had to be, because I feel like if it had gone either side of the line, it would have fallen into crass commercialism or like feminist think piece, like even more than it was. And I feel like either one of those things would have been unacceptable. Like if it had gone full on, this is just a Barbie commercial, people would have been like, well, this is what we expected all along. It's just a 90-minute Barbie commercial. What a load of shit. And if it went too far onto women's lib theory, everyone would have been like, what the fuck? This is just an ad. This was supposed to just be an ad for children's product. Why are you forcing this on us? Just say I hate women. Okay, Mike, just say I hate women. Yeah, I've said the phrase for you. No. Again, I think I quite like the women. I quite like the women. And I think there was some stuff that the film said that was good, that I was like, hey, that's a great way of phrasing it. But again, that was part of the problem, was it was trying to be a slave to two masters. It was like, hey, we want to say something, but also Mattel want us to say something about selling dolls. Like this is my point, is that like it was always going to be what it was, because it had to tread that line between, hey, I'm here to sell something, and hey, I'm here to say something. Yeah, I think, well, it depends. I think there's two things, Avatar. I think a lot of people expected it to just be absolute trash. So in that regard, yeah, it's better than people expected. But considering that people were like, it should have won the awards, not Oppenheimer. Now, to be fair, I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, but I watched Barbie and was kind of like, no, I wouldn't have given this an award. It has some fundamental problems in terms of structure and pacing that I don't think are deserving of like an award. Basically, it has some problems. It had some problems with pacing. It also had a bunch of like, what am I in, a blanket? Correct. Welcome in, little Halacat lover. I am in a blanket. See? Hang on. Wrong button. Wrong button. There we go. I am in the blankie. I'm in the blankie. I'll 100% agree, Avatar. Weird Barbie was the best part. I'm trying to remember what that actress's name is. But yeah, that was probably one of the roles I've seen her in that I didn't cringe at. I thought she did pretty good. Yeah, and then again, that's fair, Avatar. So that's fair, Mike. Like, I get that. There are plenty of things that I haven't watched because I'm like, I don't care. Like, people have been overhyping this, and again, that's the same thing with Barbie. I knew it was gonna be overhyped. It does have cat ears. There's a pink version too, but I went with the blue. I do not have cat ears. I'll lean down. Hang on. I don't have cat ears, but the blanket does. Yes, welcome in, little howler. My name is Takami Ando, or Ando for short. I am a little bit sick at the moment, hence why I sound like I smoke a pack a day and I have my blanket on. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. We're just chilling out and playing some Power Wash. Normally my stream times are 8:30 Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. At the moment I am playing through Pacific Drive and Another Crab's Treasure, but at the moment I need something that's a little bit less energy intensive because I'm still recovering. Yeah, I'm M Turtle. M Turtle. Yeah, Kate McKinnon. Again, like apparently she's been quite good on Saturday Night Live, but yeah, her previous castings have not been great. Yeah, smoking is not healthy. I don't smoke. I just sound like it because the plague has taken my voice. Exactly. I got the ligma. I got that ligma. That ancient pharaoh's curse of ligma. I got that curse of Ra. Too long, don't care, curse of Ra. That's okay. You don't need to know what the ligma is. You just need to understand the ligma. You just need to embrace it. The ligma is a mystery to us all. Alright, how are we doing? Only 56% cleaned. It's not good enough, Ando. You need to clean faster. See, this is why I was putting off doing the fire station. Good, Mike. I'm glad you're not taking the bait. I want only the biggest fish. I don't want the small ball fish. Yes, the turtle shell is somewhat hidden behind the blanket at the moment, I will admit. I can also do this. Oh, actually, wrong button. I can do that. I can also do this. Do I have cats? No, I don't. I don't actually have cats. I don't have any pets. I am a pet-free turtle. I have had pets in the past, but I do not have any currently. What are you gonna do, Mike? Ah, that's what you're gonna do. What do you mean, poor turtle? Well, actually, I am. I'm suffering through sickness, but aside from that, I'm doing pretty good. I'm actually, it's funny. I'm not real. Like, a lot of people be like, "Hey, Ando, are you a cat or a dog person?" And I'm kind of like neither. I don't mind other people's cats and dogs, but I don't really need one for me. Like, yeah, that's fair, but like, how do I put this? I can just cuddle myself. My favorite pet is me. Hang on. Mike, you can't take that one wrong. You cannot take that one wrong. What do you mean think these things through? That was a completely normal thing to say. I am a turtle who embraces himself. A turtle who is content in not having other organisms in his life, okay? I'm embracing self-care, all right? I'm just me and I'm enough. Mike, you know you gotta sub at tier 3 if you want me to embrace those nuts. You know the rules. Alright, thank you, Howler. I do have some water sitting next to me, so I have a mug. Mike, how dare you? I'm sick, how dare you? Also, I don't know why. I still haven't figured out why, but every time I clear the redeem queue, for some reason it triggers all of the throw. It triggers all of the throw redeems again. So I cleared it on stream yesterday and proceeded to like get a month's worth of throw redeems yeeted at me simultaneously. They're flash grenades, yes. Yes, Howler. So the story behind it is I kept seeing clips on YouTube of stuff of like VTuber flashbangs audience, which usually means like showing their underwear or something like that by accident. And I thought, wouldn't it be funny if I had a redeem that was a flashbang redeem that literally just blinded the audience? Which was that one that Mike used earlier. So I made that myself. I drew and animated it myself and added the sound effects. And then I commissioned the objects that get thrown at me. I commissioned those from Mr. Blue Designs, who is a Chad. You should check him out if you want anything done that's 3D. I also have some eggs. If you throw eggs at me, the eggs were made also by Mr. Blue, but I wouldn't say they were commissioned. They were made by Sin. So Mr. Blue was doing a thing last Easter where he was like, give me VTubers and I'll make egg versions of them. And Sin posted my reference. And so he was like, here is Ando egg. Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one, Howler. Also, thank you for summoning Jean-Claude Van Damme, Mike. He's necessary. Yeah, again, I'm kind of washing this the same way I kind of mow my lawn, in that I tend to do a perimeter first and then work into the inside. I hate mowing the lawn though. Lawns, Ando's gonna once again go on the lawn rant that he does every now and again. Fuck lawns. Lawns are ecological dead zones. If you can, get rid of your lawn and replace it with something better. Replace it with a garden. Plant natives, plant plants that attract butterflies. I mean, yeah, that one kind of works. The only problem with that is you have to use bunnies, and rabbits are not native here. In fact, not where I am, but where Mike is, in the state of Queensland. I'm pretty sure it's illegal to own rabbits. Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately, we have plenty of other cute things. We have wombats. We have echidnas. We have all the little like cute marsupials, like the bandicoots and all the stuff like that. They're adorable. And the wallabies. But yeah, if I had my choice, I would put out a lot of like Grevilleas and Banksias and stuff. What are you talking about, Hal? Echidnas are fucking adorable. They're the cutest little fellas. They're just little guys and they just want to eat ants. Like, yeah, they're a little bit spiky, but they're adorable. They got little snoots. They got a little tongue that goes. They're just little fellas, and they just waddle along. They have that little trundle. They're just little guys. Yes. Correct, Mike. Very correct. But yeah, I'm a big fan of little fellas of all varieties. That reminds me, I need to do some more animal streams. I had one I started ages ago and didn't finish because I kept biting off more than I could chew. Because I was going to be like, hey, I'm going to tell you about all the marsupials. And then I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of marsupials. Better break this down a bit. Because I want to talk about the Diasauridae. So the Diasaurids are like a particular chunk of marsupials, a pretty large chunk as well. So the Diasaurids is like the quolls and the like not really the possums, but like quolls, Tasmanian devils are Diasaurids as well. I think bilbies are in Diasauridae as well. I'll need to check. It's either bilby or bandicoot that aren't. And yeah, all the other ones with the weird names that I can never pronounce. Oh, look, we've tried that, Howler. Like, you would not believe how quickly bunnies replicate here. Like, they really are a problem. Fun fact, my grandfather in his youth, that was one of his jobs, was hunting rabbits, basically. And he got paid for it, but he basically said, look, they never got any less. There was always rabbits. He kind of said, like, the money wasn't good, but I was always getting paid. But yeah, I want to talk about, like, quolls and dunarts and shit, because they're chads. I love quolls. They breed like, well, rabbits. Exactly. 1 to 7 litters in a season. It also doesn't help that, like, rabbits are just the right level of adapted to fit well into our climate. Because rabbits actually have some good adaptations that make them really well suited to arid conditions. Namely the fact that they have very large ears, which are great for thermoregulation. Because some of the other like European mammals probably wouldn't have acclimatized as well here. Part of it was also the fact that we essentially fucked up our ecosystems a lot. So like Australia was often a lot more woodlanded than it is now because we cleared a lot for grazing. And actually the first couple attempts at releasing rabbits in Australia didn't succeed because they got out-competed by the local flora. sorry, our local fauna. It was only after we'd kind of done enough to destabilize the ecosystem that they were able to kind of latch on. I believe it's around 1860. It's documented, but around 1860 we just had a huge population collapse of a whole bunch of our native mammals. No one knows why. There's some speculation. Some people believe it was disease. Other people believe it was habitat collapse because of you know, changes to the ecosystem based on like clearing for grazing land or whatever. We're not entirely sure. But based on like what documentation in there is, they're like, yeah, a lot of Australia's native mammal populations declined by like anywhere up to 90%. You know, there was a lot of stuff like, again, bandicoots are a great example, and bilbies. Some of them had ranges that used to be covered the entire continent and now cover like a tiny percentage of what it used to be. Koalas used to be found across the entirety of the continent and aren't now. There is a button. Yep, tab. If you hit tab, it makes it glow. See? It makes it all glow. Ah, the good old intro music. Banger track. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever see it in my lifetime. And in fact, I think things are only going to get worse in my lifetime. Sorry for being a doomer. But I would love to see some of our native animal populations recover, or at the very least adapt sufficient to recover to their historical ranges. Like, you know, I mean, koalas are recovering a bit. They're still in a shitty position because people keep deciding that, you know, housing developments are more important than preserving koala habitat. Thanks, John Barilaro. I'm not sure if it's a town for mud people, but it is a fire station, and, well, fire causes a lot of soot. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see some of our historical organisms back in their historical ranges. I mean, I'm unsure on that, Mike. I'm unsure on that. Simply because of the fact that, like, I remember what happened in 2016, so I'm a little bit dubious on what predictions are now. But I kind of get you in the sense of, like, apologies for getting Australian politics for a second, but we just had the budget happen in Australia, right? And everyone, all the media are saying this budget is shit. It's the worst thing ever. How dare they make such a shitty budget? But if you actually look at the numbers, it's actually one of the best budgets we've ever had. I'm not even joking. Like, all of the foreign media, like the Canadian press, were talking about how well we've done. The Canadian press was saying, wow, Australia's doing really good. You know, the British press was saying, wow, Australia's doing really good. And there was an article that actually did a comparison of, like, where we were 4 years ago, and we're like, yeah, we're doing really good. The numbers are good. It's just that people don't give a shit about the numbers. They're just ignoring them and saying everything is bad. And that's what annoys me. It annoys me that people are kind of just completely divorcing themselves from fact and just, I don't know, fucking buying into a bullshit narrative. That's the thing that's always kind of annoyed me. Don't piss in my ear and tell me it's raining. All right. Tell me where we stand as we stand, and I'll make my decisions there. But no, of course, we can't have that. We can't have people making informed decisions. then things would actually get done. God forbid. No, it's okay, Mike. You ask when you do it. So it's consensual. It's soothing. It's ASMR when Mike does it. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Mike. Now that you've mentioned it, yeah, I am kind of watching that whole thing overseas, somewhat sidelong and somewhat hesitantly. It is a very bizarre set of circumstances. Because I have been watching Legal Eagle because I like the way that man talks. Even if his whole channel is essentially a very large advertisement for his legal firm. I like how he talks, and so I watch him and have him explain how legal things are going. And there's something where I'm just like, this is so utterly fucking bizarre that, like, there are this many legal cases in play and Trump could still wind up becoming president. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would prefer the latter rather than the... Sorry, yeah, the latter rather than the former. Because... like, the worst thing about the Trump administration... And again, not wanting to get too political, but the worst thing about the Trump administration was the fact that they just absolutely gutted the bureaucracy. And one of the best things about America was that it has always had a fairly effective bureaucracy. It might not be efficient. It might be like it might be kind of like, you know, really quite inefficient and stalling in a lot of regards. But it's kind of just there and it kind of just works. And the fact that, like, Trump gutted a lot of that, I think really hurt how America as a country works. Yeah, exactly. And also, like, just, yeah. You know, making things work as a whole. Well, reasonably effective Avatar, because, like, a great example is... One of the things that Trump did when he got in was the State Department. He got rid of a whole bunch of people from the State Department, which meant that for like a huge amount of time, it was something like 27 months. It was something ridiculous. They had no one on the Southeast Asia desk. They had no one responsible for diplomacy in Southeast Asia. Yeah, which happens to be the region that I technically live in, right? Which basically meant that if things were going bad in Southeast Asia, which there were some stuff going down, there was no one there who had their finger on the button to be like, hey, this is what the problem is, this is what we need to do. Because America, for all their faults, one of the things that America is very good at is diplomacy, right? But it's not even autocracy, Mike. It was literally just incompetence. It was his whole claim of drain the swamp means get rid of bureaucracy. You know, get rid of the unelected you know, bureaucrats, the people who you don't vote for, sort of bullshit. It's the same reason why Britain wanted to get out of the EU, because it was the whole
Am I
don't
not
vote for these
turtly
people.
enough for the
Liz,
Turtle Club?
you are in fact totally enough for the Turtle Club for 15 months. Wow, 15 months. Liz, Liz, are you doing okay? Are you well, Liz? Are you well? I need to ask, because if you've spent 15,
Am
if
I
you've
not turtly enough for the turtle
Sin,
club?
I also need to ask, are you well, Sin? Having also been in the Turtle Club for 15 months, I have to ask, are you both well? Because if you've been in the Turtle Club for 15 months, I have concerns, right? Clearly something is going on. Something is wrong. Also, why are you both saying you're well and sound of mind like you're signing your will? Like, am I witnessing the will and last testament of Boyson and Elsrit? I, Boyson, being well and sound of mind, hereby bequeath all my subs to Mr. Beast, should any harm befall me. They've got the cystic calcul. The what? Is that the worm that makes cats act irrational or whatever? Ah, I see. We've formed them into a binary mind complex. Oh, a turtle parasite, I see. I'm not aware of that one. The only one I know is the one that causes the weird tumors to grow on sea turtles. Who, being naughty in my sight, shall snuff it? Sizz, okay. BRB commissioning art of Sin and Liz doing the fusion dance from Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, correct, Avatar, but there is a particular there's a particular parasite that causes cats to act differently. Yeah, maybe, Liz. It's hard because you two are both so cute, right? Like, how like, unless it's the Chimera from Full Metal Alchemist, just sitting there being like, and go. I can't think of how to make it monstrous. Well, I mean, look, if you're gonna send me the copy of the Goetia for inspiration, I mean, like, I can think of some things, like Stolas is basically just an owl with really long legs, so just do Liz's Stolas mode. See, Avatar, you're making me regret that I can't cook. You're making me regret that I can't actually formulate and action these ideas you're giving me. Hang on, let's get the turbo. Turbo time. Stolas these nuts. I will say I do love Stolas. I do love Stolas because of at least the ones that I'm familiar with from the Goetia. Stolas is kind of one of the ones who's just a little guy. He's just a little fella. It's like, he's the Lord of Hell. What does he do? He teaches you alchemy and magic and like herb lore, and he's just like an owl with a crown on. And you're like, okay, cool. I mean, look, I wouldn't be surprised, Avatar, like, considering that, like, what? There's a fair few, like, dragon hybrids out there. Pretty sure Tricky Wee's what, she's a harpy dragon or whatever. Exactly, that's all he needs to do because he is a good boy. There's what's her face, Shy Lily, she's an cat, half orca. There's a fair few hybrids out there. I mean, let's face it, VTubers, we're crimes against nature. We exist as strange, cursed hybrid beings. We're one step off being that weird furry who's a Draco werepire. And uses Wise in his name because it makes it more edgy. Darkfire Flame Wolf. I mean, yes. Correct, Mike. Correct. I had been thinking as a joke, I want to get like a HD model done. That's literally just like a photo of a like a Galapagos tortoise or whatever, where I just like rig the chin so the chin moves. Because it means I could do the like the face reveal meme of being like, hey everyone, here's my face reveal, and it's just a very high def photo of a turtle. Do it, no balls. I mean, I could. I just have to get around to doing it. That's the problem. I just have to schedule things. I have to remember to do things, which I keep forgetting to do. I mean, to my credit, I at least got some new emotes recently. I remembered to do something, but... The same with I need to message Seralith and be like, hey, it's been a while. Are you still interested in doing more VTuber stuff? Exactly, Liz. Imagine remembering to do things. Oh yeah, so... Liz and Sin being my brain's trust, I managed to bully them into brainstorming ideas for a 200 followers stream last night. And they came up with some interesting ones. And one of them was a virtual tour of the Baltimore Aquarium, which I was very intrigued by. Hang on. I need water. I was very intrigued by the virtual tour. And I gave it a try today, and I got lost. I got lost in the aquarium, and I couldn't find any fish. Actually, that's a lie. I could find some fish. But not very many fish. Exactly, lost in the fish source. Yes, in the sign says follow the fish, but then I followed some fish and then I got lost, and I don't know. I am not a very smart turtle, okay? I found the women's toilets though, so that helps. When I'm giving the tour, I can be like, anyone needs a piss break, we're here. I mean, I found some fish okay. I found the megalodon. I found the megalodon jaws. I found a bunch of other stuff. Exactly. Guys gotta look after his pisses. It's like 90% of my brand, I think. I don't know. At this point, I don't even know what my brand is. Oh, wrong button. I don't know what my brand is, but at this point, it's VTubing, so it's got to involve piss. I know how this industry works. Ding. Yeah, sure. I don't know. Again, I don't know what Toma's claim on it is. Because I know for a while Yuzu was pissed off just because she's yellow. I see. Interesting brand choice, but I won't contest it. You know, as I was saying earlier, secure the bag by all means. But yes, I got lost in the aquarium. I got lost in the sauce. So I don't know. Hopefully things will be better. I also couldn't find a way to look at the exhibit signs. Like, they were there, but I don't know. Is there a way to click on them so you can actually like read what the exhibit signs say and stuff? Well, I mean, exactly, Mike. That's the point. I want to be able to exhibit those nuts and those fish and all the other things in the exhibits. Like, you're not getting the full Ando Aquarium experience if I don't proceed to like read every single plaque that there is and give you an in-depth explanation of like every species they have. I was and am that kid who goes to aquariums and reads like every exhibit sign. And chat, you will have to experience this too. It's a glorious thing, do not struggle. See, I just got this mental image of Sin, like, zooming in on the fish and just being like, yes, that's a fish. Next fish. What do you mean you all know I read the signs? I skip through a lot of the signs in video games, thank you, Mike. Exactly. Correct, Liz. Who will survive, Ando or chat? The answer is neither of us. I've rigged this aquarium to blow, and when we get to the end, we're both going out. Mutual aquarium destruction. Exactly, Mike. 200 follower, blow these aquarium and these nuts stream. It'll be a stream to remember. Or maybe forget. I don't know. Whatever your trauma needs are. We're at 11:37. This stream has gone both faster and slower than I thought it would. What a day. Ding. How's the sickness today? Better-ish. I'm still improving. I'm still not fully better yet. Still was not at work. I'm kind of like, hopefully I'll be good enough to return to normal living tomorrow, which is both a good thing and a bad thing, because I would much like to be no longer sick, but at the same time, it's also, I have to go back to work and there'll be a backlog, and I hate having to play catch up, so meh, it is what it is. Is it just a flu or the vid? I don't actually know. I have not actually taken a COVID test. Because it hasn't actually been that bad. It's just, it's had me a bit snuffly and a bit like sore throat and stuff. And a little bit just zonked. So it hasn't been terrible. And again, it's weird. I'm a bad person to ask if it's COVID or not, because remember, the time I did actually get COVID, I had like fully asymptomatic COVID where I barely displayed any symptoms. So, yeah, it's kind of, it's a bit of a funny one. I don't think it's the flu. It doesn't feel bad enough to be the flu. Also, I would feel bad if it is the flu because, well, work was giving out free flu shots, but I've been too lazy to book one, so, well, not lazy, too busy. So I'd feel like, damn, I really should have gotten that flu shot, but oh well. But yeah, I think it is just a cold or something. Because again, I haven't like, when I've had the flu and other stuff before, I felt more overwhelmingly shit, whereas at the moment I just feel kind of eh. And really, like, again, I probably could have done work from home, but I figured, like, look, my brain's not running on 100%. I'd prefer not to try and do work, make mistakes, and then come back to it when I'm better and be like, Ando, what the fuck did you do? Because I have at least checked my emails, and I know I've got some messages of them being like, hey, this isn't working. Can you look at why it's not working? And I'm like, I don't want to look at that while I'm sick. I don't want to try and figure out why that's not working while I'm sick. I mean, past Ando has done, well, Benz, past Ando's done good things, past Ando's done terrible things. Past Ando has committed crimes against humanity and decency. But no, I mean in the sense that, like, hang on. There are some stuff that I've looked at work where I haven't touched it in a while, and I've gone back and looked at it and been like, huh, that was really smart. Like, thanks for doing it that way, past Ando. And then there's other times I'll go back and look at stuff and be like, oh, this is really shit. Who did this? Oh, it was me. Fuck. Okay. I'm more annoyed at the moment because they keep breaking stuff and finding problems with stuff where they're like, Ando, this isn't working. Find out why it's not working. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, it's not my problem. And by that I mean, I know why it's not working, and the reason why it's not working is you need to fix this thing. It's not on my end, it's on your end. But it is just annoying that they keep getting loaded up with stuff of like, fix this please, and it's like, okay, I can do that, but, well, I can look at it, but it's, well, we don't control that. It can't be me because I don't have anything to do with that. which is then a little bit annoying because then I have to ask other people to look at things, and I hate bothering people. Well, it's not even a not my jurisdiction, it's more of a, this is my jurisdiction, I've checked it, it's not my component. It's a, the things that are my responsibility are all working correctly, or the things that are my responsibility don't do that. So we got one, they sent me one the other day that I haven't gotten to look at yet because I'm sick. But they were like, oh yeah, when we try and run the sequence, the belts start up, the conveyor belts start up, but the vibros don't to feed it. And I'm like, okay, but all our thing does is tell the sequence to run. Our thing's not responsible for starting the vibros. So if the vibros aren't starting properly, that's not me, you know? That's the sequence. What are you doing, Vibro? Yeah. The one that always makes me laugh on this system is there's the so they have the lance which they put into the pot of hot metal, which they then blow oxygen through. But because you're dealing with hot metal, you'll get some of the metal that cools down and sticks to things, and that's called a skull. So there is a part of the sequence which is called skull removal. So every time there's a button which is like activate skull removal, and every time I see that I'm like, oh yeah. No, I get that, Liz. I get that. There's currently another team in another department that keeps asking for all this security shit, and my bosses basically just told them to fuck off because they kept asking for all these details, and they're like, half of those we don't even have, and the other ones that we do have you don't need. Like, there's this system, it's called TOMS. It stands for like temperature optimization and machine service. I can't remember what it is. I know the TO is temperature optimization. And my boss was like, that's a computer that should just be a PLC. It should just be a piece of code in a PLC. It shouldn't even be a fucking separate computer to do it. And like, no, you don't need the security details on this thing because it doesn't have any security details. It's literally just a little fucking computer that sits in the middle of nowhere and just does some calculations. Yeah, I don't know. I swim at a depth that is beneath all of that sort of shit. I don't give a shit. I don't care about inter-team politics or anything. I just want to make the thing work and be left alone. It's kind of like what I said earlier. The turtle is not particularly ambitious. I have no goals in terms of career aside from get paid. And I've let my boss know as much. He was kind of like, in terms of career development, Ando, like, is there anywhere particular you want to go with your career? And I'm like, not really. I would like to continue working and get paid. And he was like, fair enough. See, Liz is an owl of culture. He knows where it's at. Nah, I've been very lucky, Mike, in the sense that, like, I am very chill and easygoing, and much to my surprise, people like me. The general feedback I get from more or less everyone is, Ando, you are really easy to work with. Which, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm, you know, I don't go to huge efforts, but at the same time I go to an effort to try not to be difficult. So yeah, generally speaking, most people have shown no inclination to have a problem with the fact that I don't really want to kind of move up anywhere. Most people are like, yeah, Ando's happy where he is, and that's okay because Ando gets shit done. And I'm on board with that. I don't mind. No one minds me, and Ando don't mind no one. Because there are some people I've worked with who I wouldn't say they're bad people, but they got places they want to be, and let's just put it this way: they decide that you know, if things are disrupting their goal of getting where they want to be, they're gonna make it other people's problem, and people kind of notice this. Oh yeah. I'm in a similar position, Mike, where I've kind of become our go-to guy for our HMI system. So I'm currently on a 2-year contract, which ends in September. And my boss has kind of told me, he's like, look, we're working on some options because we can't, like, because of how things have changed, they can't just roll over the contract. They can't just be like, here's another 2-year contract, Ando, because they, like, you know, fair work or whatever they're called. They basically decided, hey, that's a shit thing to do because if you keep rolling it over, people get screwed over in terms of long service leave. So he basically said the goal is they're pitching to HR for giving me a more permanent position. Actually, drill tower walls, I'll do those. But he's saying if that fails, then they'll probably give me another contract, but with a different team or something. Because they're like, we're pretty content for keeping you around, Ando, because you know what you're doing, and you get shit done. So that's nice. But yeah, because again, some of the more ambitious people at work, I've heard some unsavory things. Because there's a young guy, he's younger than me. And he wound up becoming a manager in a particular department. And I was actually in his department for a while. I actually worked with this guy. And he's one of those people who is very driven, and he can be kind of a dick. He is very competent, though. He's good at his job. And so you kind of go like, I've always been like, hey, I respect him for his competence, but he's kind of a dick. But I was hearing recently, so back before he got that manager position, when there was kind of a shake-up in the department, and I was actually around for this, him and another dude basically got temporarily put in the role. They were like, we're going to get you to share this managership role and, like, you know, like, see how you do, and, like, pick the manager based on, like, how you both do sort of thing. And I was hearing through the grapevine, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, but I was hearing through the grapevine from someone else who worked in that office with me that apparently one of the dudes in this pairing basically told the other one, he was like, yeah, I have no, like they were given the instruction to work together, and he basically told the other guy, I have no intentions of working with you, like, I'm not going to help you at all, this is my job, like, I'm going to get this managership, and, like, you know, I only share things with people I respect, and I don't respect you, so I'm not going to share fucking anything, like, I'm not going to share you any of my resources, I'm not going to share you any of my team, I'm not going to help you with any of this, like, this is my position, go fuck yourself. Yeah, basically. And so the other guy has now also become a manager, sort of, but he moved to a different department, he left. I'm actually working with him right now on a project. And he seemed like a decent guy, like, he's a nice enough guy. So I'm kind of like, if guy A came to him and was like, fuck you, this is my job, and, like, I'm gonna help you not at all, even though we've been told to work together, that's a pretty, like, it's a pretty scum move. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if you're competent. Like, if you're gonna act like that, go fuck yourself. And that's the thing, like, the amount of complaints this guy gets, I feel like he is burning a lot of bridges. And if I stay at the company for a while, like, depending on how long I stay at the company, I'm kind of intrigued to see where this guy's career goes, because I feel like, again, he is very competent and he does get things done, but I feel like there's going to be a point where his career is going to stall. I feel like he's going to hit a point where he has burnt so many bridges and has gotten so high, like, he's gotten to a certain point in the company where the people higher than him, he has pissed off enough that none of them are going to want to promote him anymore. Like, no matter how good he is, they're just going to be like, none of the other departments want to work with you, so you're dead to us. But we will see. We will see. Time will tell. But we did it. We did the fire station. Also, I love it how it doesn't show the scaffolding, so it just shows me, like, levitating up the side of the tower. Who's a witch? Fire truck. Grandpa Miller's car. Oh, penny farthing. We'll do the penny farthing. But yeah, that's why I make a point of just being chill. Because, you know, no one, I don't know. No one wants to get rid of someone who isn't a troublemaker. I'd say. Grandpapa's bike. I've always kind of wanted to try riding a penny farthing, even though I know it would, like, absolutely suck ass. I need to do some research on these things, because, like, who the fuck thought this was a good bicycle design? Like, it probably has to do with the ratio of pedal to wheel. Because I feel like this is the only way you could get a workable torque ratio from foot pedaling to wheel. But at the same time, look at this fucking thing. Look at this fucking stupid thing. Look at this nonsense. We thought this was a good idea. And need equipment. I think that's the one I need. It is. Select. Load metal cleaner. But yeah, some of the early forms of bicycle are really fucking weird. Like before they figured out that pedals were a thing. But some of the early ones were literally things like the Velocipede, which was literally like a seat, two wheels, and you just walked along like it was some Flintstones, like some Flintstones level bullshit. To be fair, I'm kind of surprised that like a modernized version of a penny farthing hasn't made a comeback. I'm surprised that hipsters haven't been like, yes, I desire this. There we go. I love it how it ends with me like crouched behind this thing. All right. Well, I think that's the end. I think we're gonna call it there. So thank you all for coming by. Hoomst. I have two things open. I have two. Hang on, back to Twitch. Hoomst is on. There's a Twee. There's a Noodle. So yeah, we will raid the Noodle. Thanks for stream. Oh. Thank you, Mike. Noodle. Noodle is playing the crab game, so I'll send you over to him. And you can enjoy more crab goodness. We'll be back Thursday, I think. Question mark. I don't know. We'll find out. Anyway, I'll catch you around. Bye.